All right. Good morning or good afternoon to all of you, depending where you're calling in from. Welcome to our Thought Farmer webinar this morning on Office 365. Our presentation today is going to be around 20 minutes long, and then we'll have time for questions and answers as well after the presentation's finished. So if you think of any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to tap them into the GoToMeeting chat panel, and we'll be monitoring those and make sure that we address them after the presentation. We're also recording our webinar today, and we're going to make the recording available on our YouTube channel and also on our Thought Farmer community site. So stay tuned for that in the next coming days here. Before we get started, I'll do some introductions. My name is Caroline. I lead our customer success team here at Thought Farmer, and Darren, who's our presenter today, is our Thought Farmer president and founder. So in today's webinar, we're going to give you a preview of our new and improved Thought Farmer Cloud integration. And today is actually part 2 of a 2-part webinar series. We talked about our G Suite integration yesterday, and then today we're going to focus on showing you our Office 365 integration, which is brand new. Like I said, both of these webinars will be or have been recorded. And what you see here on the screen is just the final homes for those recordings. So if you want to bookmark those links to review them later, you can do that or share them with coworkers as well. And that's enough of an introduction, I think. So I'm going to hand it over to Darren.
Thanks, Caroline. So in today's presentation, we're going to talk a little bit of just some of the trends that we've been observing and our approach to how we've addressed those trends. The bulk of the presentation will be a live demo where we walk through the functionality we've been working on here, and then we'll wrap up with some timing, talk about availability, and any kind of questions and answers that you might have. So from key trends perspective, now what we've observed is that there's been a shift of business applications to the cloud, and this isn't news, this has been going on for a while now. But two mainstays of just about any organization has been the Active Directory server and the file server. Typically, these would be running behind the firewall, but now they're moving to the cloud too. We've seen a big shift to move Active Directory to the cloud. And the main goal here is to be able to enable access to other cloud services, but also for ease of maintenance and deployment. Another shift we've seen has been with file servers. Everybody's used to the F drive, which was the network file share that everybody could use. It had a collection of shared documents, but this is getting moved to the cloud as well too. IT admins, they love the cloud because it's easier to manage. Backups are handled automatically. And users love it as well too because of the ability to collaborate with coworkers on documents in real time. So our approach to these trends, we wanted to take advantage of them, and we've done that with our Office 365 integration. A couple things here. First off, we've made it easy to access your intranet with single sign-on support via SAML, which integrates with Azure AD. You can use the same account you use for Office 365 to log into your intranet. Next, we've made it easy to work with Office 365 files as it is to work with files on your computer. You can link these files to pages on your intranet, you can build up document libraries, and organize them to make finding content easy. Our search engine is now federated to allow searching of intranet and OneDrive and SharePoint Online files simultaneously. And we integrate with Office 365 securely to make sure that the permissions are always set. And finally, our focus here has been with documents on OneDrive and with SharePoint Online. So when you work with your files there, you're going to always be able to see those files that are in those systems there. Our main focus of what our presentation here is going to be on the documents portion of SharePoint Online, as well as OneDrive. So let's jump over to the demo. All right, so I'm looking here just to kind of set up the demo here. I'm looking at the fictitious intranet here for Pacific Credit Union. And For the purpose of our presentation here, I've got two things here we're going to be working with. One is a SharePoint team site. So you can see here it's just the sales team. And I'm going to be looking at the document folder for that team site. And then I also have my own personal OneDrive here as well too. And so you can see I've got a series of files and folders here as well. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to attach and to embed folders and files in ThoughtFarmer. So to get started here, I'm going to just head over to the sales team. From here, I'm going to go into the contract section. And so here's just a page here. It's just a blank page. It's set up here to be able to attach some contract templates onto it. And you'll notice that there's a new link over here. So upload file is going to upload a file from my computer. On the cloud drive here, I can choose whether I'm going to upload from OneDrive or SharePoint Online. So I'm going to choose SharePoint Online here. I'm going to browse to that sales team site. Choose a document here in the contracts folder, and I can choose one or as many as I want, and I can link those files to this page. And so from here, I can just click straight into them. And now I'm looking at that document inside Word Online. I can edit it. I can open it locally on my computer if I want to edit in Word on my computer. So it's very easy to work with these files here. But we can also do more than just linking the documents into the page. I'm going to go through this process again. But this time I'm going to embed the files. So again, I can see the list of all the team sites that I have access to. Browse into contracts. And I'm going to grab this template here and embed it into the page. So you'll notice down here I'm choosing the embed option. So when a document is embedded into a page, you can see I get a full preview of what that document looks like. And this is, again, we're able to use the full functionality of Word Online here. So if I go through here, if I make some changes to this template, come in here, I'm going to highlight, just make this yellow to flag it. And so that content's going to automatically be saved in the cloud. If I go back to my page, you'll see here those changes are reflected. It's live, it's embedded there into my page. So that's a Google Doc. We also have support for other types of documents as well too. Head over here to the marketing section. Earlier, we did a presentation on our new form flow feature. I'm going to take it and I want to embed it directly into this page here. So this document I've actually got in my OneDrive folder. So I'm going to select OneDrive here. Presentations, and I can see there's that webinar. I'm going to use that embed feature. And so now you can see I've embedded the PowerPoint into the page, and I have the full preview functionality here. So I can click through those slides, but I can also click directly into that document as well too, and now I'm editing it there in PowerPoint Online. There's other file types that we support as well. If I go here to, head over to the Information Services section. So I can go in here, I can embed I'm going to embed a spreadsheet in here now. I've got a spreadsheet here. See the preview there of the spreadsheet. It's looking good. We also support Visio files there as well too. Oops, to go into the OneDrive. Visio previewer is nice. It allows me to, I can zoom in, take a look at the document here. So In terms of the documents that we support preview for, all the traditional Microsoft Office documents are supported here, such as Visio, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. But any type of file that you store in OneDrive, you can always link to it as well too. But for some files, we do support that preview capability. But it's not just files that we can embed. We also have the ability to embed folders here as well too. And this is a useful feature if you're working on a large bunch of files and you want to be able to embed them onto a page. So I'm going to head over here to the marketing section again. And so one of the features that works great, if you're using the OneDrive feature here, we have the ability to link up the files that are on your computer. So I've got this is a folder that I've got here on my computer. And you can see here I've got Thought Farmer 9 forms videos. And so what's happening here is these files are actually being synced up to OneDrive via the OneDrive utility. So I can actually take this folder here now and I can embed this folder into a page through OneDrive. So if I go here to Cloud Drive, choose OneDrive, Projects. So now I'm going to select the folder and I'm going to embed the folder here. You notice here I can see all those files. I can browse into them. But the nice thing about this is because of the way we're syncing those folders there, any changes that I make here will automatically be reflected on my intranet. So if I'm modifying these files, if I'm editing them using a video editor or what have you, they'll automatically be synced up. So in this case here, I want to flag these as complete. And I'm going to move these out of this folder. I'll delete this folder. So now when I come back to here, if I refresh this listing, no, it's still syncing. See up here in the taskbar, it's doing its thing. And once those files are have completed syncing, it will be reflected here as well too. There we go. One of the key things to remember here with the OneDrive and the SharePoint Online integration here is that permissions are always being followed. When I logged into this intranet here, I actually logged in with my Office 365 username and password. And so we're leveraging that Azure AD synchronization, Azure AD authentication there for logins. Behind the scenes, we're using SAML. We also support full group and security profile synchronization with Office 365. So you can do full hands-on management of users in your cloud system and sync it back into Thought Farmer. We can also do user provisioning as well too. So when users are added to Azure AD, they'll automatically be added to the employee directory and given access to the intranet as well. So you can really have really simple management of users and groups and security permissions between both Azure AD and therefore SharePoint and OneDrive and Thought Farmer in one spot. So it really makes it a lot easier to manage the user accounts. But a question that might come up is what happens if I embed a document onto a page that I don't have access to? So if I go into here, for example, into the legal department, head over here into the contract library, I can see here that I'm currently logged in with this account. I can see here are some files that people have uploaded into the system, but here there's some attachments. There's a Word document and a PowerPoint file that I do not have access to. So you'll notice I just get a generic message here that the file is unavailable. If I click this Learn More link, it's going to give me this message here that says I don't have access to the file. If I come in here, I can click Request Access, and that's going to now send a message to the owner of that file to grant me access to it so I can see. And if they grant me permission to that document to be able to view it, when I come back to this this page here, I'll now be able to see that content. Next, I want to show here how we've made it really easy to link to content from the rich text editor. So if I'm in a page somewhere and I want to be able to easily add a link to that content, I can do it quite easily from here. So you'll notice here on the left-hand side, I can browse files on my intranet, recently viewed pages, external locations, email addresses, but I also have these two options here of OneDrive and SharePoint Online. So with both of these, I can easily link into content, no matter where it lives. Now I've created that link, I can post that message, and anybody that clicks that link is going to go into that document. Last but not least, we've made it really easy to search content across your intranet and across SharePoint Online, as well as OneDrive as well too. So if I click search, I type in a search term. So you'll notice here the find as you type automatically searches across the internet. So I can see Pacific Credit Union, but I can also see down here the information from Office 365 as well too. And this is both going to be SharePoint and OneDrive being searched simultaneously. So if I click into these files, it's going to open that file up directly. Or I can go straight to the search results page. And from here, again, you see we've got this combined search results where I'm showing both content from the intranet as well as from SharePoint Online and OneDrive. So from here, I can click directly into that content. If I want to, I can actually just go straight into Office 365, and I'll see all that content there that matches from Office 365. Again, everything we do here is all following the permissions. So I only would ever see content that I have permission to view. If I don't have permission to see it, that would be filtered out of the results and would not show up into here. So that's the overview of the integration features. Now hop back to my presentation. So in terms of timing, these new Office 365 features are included as part of ThoughtFarmer 9. ThoughtFarmer 9 has a number of new features, including the support for our new form flow add-on, which is a great new feature to allow capturing structured data as well as forms on your intranet. We have G Suite integration in addition to our Office 365, new inline help, improved tag management, performance and service management improvements, as well as a new enhanced API for those of you that like to build extensions on top of your intranet. And that's it. Caroline, do we have any questions?
Thanks, Darren. We do actually. And again, for those of you on the line, if you have anything that you want to ask Darren, feel free to go and type it into the question panel there in the GoToMeeting box. We have a question here around Azure and authentication. If we want to use OneDrive or SharePoint, are we forced to use Azure for authentication into our ThoughtFarmer site?
No, that's you can use any kind of mix and match of authentication systems. So if you're not using Azure AD for your authentication, if you're using like a local on-premise Active Directory, or if you're using ThoughtFarmer or one of our cloud-based authentication systems, you can still use OneDrive, you can still use SharePoint Online. There will be an extra step there for users to authenticate with that system. So when they first would come in, they would log in with whatever whatever system they're using to log in. And when they go and attach a file from, say, OneDrive, when they click that attach from OneDrive, there'll be a dialog that pops up that asks them to authenticate with OneDrive. Once they've done that, they can go ahead and attach that file. That's all they need to do.
All right. Another question here around search. When you search contract, during the demo. Is that providing results of documents that are and aren't loaded on the internet through embed links, i.e. on folders in SharePoint or another system file folder?
So when I did that search for SharePoint files, it was basically behind the scenes. It was sending off two requests, or three, in fact, one to SharePoint, one to Office 365, one to OneDrive, and also to the intranet there. And we're leveraging those systems for their full text search capabilities. So basically, anything that those systems come back with, we combine and present to the user in a unified search results page. So I think I answered your question there, but if I didn't, feel free to follow up with us via email. We can dig into that a little bit further.
All right. She says, yes, thanks. Does this work with SharePoint on-premise?
Currently, this is our focus here for the integration has been SharePoint Online and Office, and OneDrive. Obviously, there's no OneDrive for SharePoint on-premise. We're looking into the APIs that we're using are stronger in the SharePoint Online environment. We're looking closely to see if the next version of SharePoint, which I believe is coming out shortly, provides the corresponding APIs that we can use to provide the same integration for on-premise SharePoint. But at this point right now, we do not have support for this functionality on SharePoint on-premise.
All right, great. Another question here. Will this work with multiple instances of SharePoint Online?
Right now, the way we have it configured is you link it up to a specific instance of SharePoint Online. As you can see there, we do support many different team sites associated with it. But I believe that if you have multiple instances of SharePoint Online, each with multiple team sites, that we would need to work with, you need to pick one instance of SharePoint Online to work with.
All right. Does this work with both Google and Microsoft simultaneously if I'm using both Cloud Drive?
Yes, it does actually. If you have Google set up and SharePoint set up and OneDrive set up, you'll see that same Cloud Drive link. When you click it, you'll see three options there: one for Google Drive, one for SharePoint, and one for OneDrive.
All right, and then I think this is the last question here for now. Can I embed Office 365 files onto ThoughtFarmer if we're not using Microsoft for authentication?
Yes, you can. You'll be able to take those same files and embed them onto the page, but you will have to authenticate twice. There'll be an extra authentication step, but once you've done that, they will just work.
Okay, great. Thanks, Darren. I think I'm just going to do one last check here. I think that was all the questions we had for today. So thanks, Darren, so much for the overview of our Office 365 integration here. And thank you guys for attending today. If you have any questions or follow-up thoughts, feel free to get in touch with us at engage@thoughtfarmer.com. And again, just stay tuned for the recording of the webinar today. We'll be posting that on our website and on our community site soon. That's it for us here in Vancouver. Thanks so much for attending, and we'll hope to see you next time.